This is One-on-One. Mark Rosenthal is co-curator at the Regarding Warhol 60 Artists, 50 Years exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. How you doing?
I'm fine.
This is fascinating. We're about to see some pictures, some artwork from this exhibit. Describe it for us.
Well, the exhibition is a Warhol exhibition. It's about Andy Warhol, and it's also about the artist who operated in his wake, as it were, who developed styles and ways of working that are very dependent on Andy Warhol. So that this exhibition is really about Warhol's influence, Warhol's impact on art history, which is enormous.
And the Campbell Soup, a very famous piece, right?
Right. Well, he actually called the Campbell Soup, as well as the Brillo box, a portrait of a Campbell Soup can and a portrait of a Brillo box. He was very interested in the banal subject as well as celebrating the famous person.
Like Jackie O.
Celebrating Jackie O, exactly.
But you know what's interesting? Those who criticized Warhol, and there were many.
Still are.
Still are. But you gave our producers a quote in getting ready for the show, and I know you've said it before. You said, quote, "Critics don't make art history. Andy Warhol made art history." I mean, I added the last part, but that is what you mean.
Well, and one more thing I mean, which is that other artists make art history. This exhibition is about all these artists, 60 artists. There could have been 600. It's about all these artists making art history by choosing to work in the way Andy Warhol worked. It isn't so much that they're directly influenced. Andy Warhol established new ways of making art. And all these artists came along. They made art history by choosing to make art the way they did.
The Warhol impact, you call
Exactly.
it. But did they say it was Andy Warhol that impacted it? Is it that linear?
Some do, some don't, but all you do is go back to history. Almost all of them acknowledge Warhol one way or the other. But the way I like to describe it is, imagine a meteor hits the Earth, hits New York City. Only New York City is the art world. And it changes the climatic conditions. There's new riverbeds formed, huge holes in the ground. So now people come along in subsequent years and you walk along this street because it's built here. Well, people came along and started making celebrity portraits. People came along and worked with photography in a very profound way. Did each one think I'm working like Andy Warhol? It was an established pattern. It was an established pattern, and it was established by Warhol.
Who were some of the artists we're talking about who were in the exhibit?
Well, there's many, obviously, 60. Jeff Koons is a well-known figure, and he sort of channels Warhol more than most, to use that expression. But there's some surprising people, Gerhard Richter and Sigmar Polke, who are two of the most important artists of the last 50 years, a pair of Germans. One of the surprising artists is an artist named Hans Haacke, who's originally German, but he's lived in America for years. And he's an example, well, there's many examples of artists taking the Warhol example and turning it into something else.
So, by the way, the exhibit is at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Log on to the website, you get more information, go and check it out. I've got to ask you, why is this exhibition so important?
Well, there's
there's
two reasons. One reason is that I only just discovered this. It's 25 years since Warhol died.
Okay.
So museums kind of dig that sort of celebratory thing. But the reality is that the last big Warhol show in New York with major works was 2 years after he died in 1989. It's a long time ago to assemble the number of really great Warhol paintings we have. So it's a chance to look at Warhol again. But the other reason to do it now, or to do it anytime in recent times, is that for so many years, of the last decade, I have read over and over again the following statement: Warhol is the most important artist of the last 50 years. Well, to say such a thing is a very grand statement. So in approaching the show, what I wanted to do was see what that looks like. If Warhol's the most important artist of the last 50 years, this is what the age of Warhol looks like. Some of these artists, Ed Ruscha, Bob Gober, quite a few artists, to see what it looks like to say Warhol's the most important artist of the last 50 years.
You enjoyed doing this, didn't you?
Of course, this is what I do.
I know, but it just strikes me that you really, there's a big part of you that wanted to take this on for a whole range of reasons other than the fact that it's your job.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is my little creative act. I'm not a painter, but to bring these things together, one of the fun things about this show, walking through it, that I sort of devised, as it were, is each gallery has at least one Warhol and then a group of works by other artists, so that there are these visual relationships that are very rich to behold. So you see Warhol with something else, and you start to think, aha, this is how the Warhol effect unfolds.
The Warhol impact.
That's right.
Check it out, folks. It is called Regarding Warhol, 60 Artists, 50 Years at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Mark Rosenthal, the co-curator. I want to thank you very much for joining us here one-on-one at the Tisch WNET studio. This is our art. What do you think of our artwork?
I know that. And now you're going to become an actor. You're going to make history.
Thank you very much, Mark.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. This is one-on-one. Stay right there. Don't walk across the camera in the middle while I'm doing my scene.
I thought we were over.
The director will tell us
You'll
that.
tell us.
Thanks. No, I'm not in charge. We'll be right back after this. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
That was
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Hackensack University Medical Center, Berkeley College, TD Bank, Qualcare Inc., a local managed care company covering 750,000 New Jersey residents, the law firm of Gibbons PC, Verizon Communications, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger and NJ.com, Everything Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.